Well, good morning to you. We've made it to Friday and yeah, the sky is beginning to lighten. That's sort of my alarm call, ready to start doing things. I've already cleaned the grate, but I haven't taken the ashes out yet. But time to start thinking about the day's programme. A little look out of the kitchen window. Yeah, it's all still there, all waiting for me. Now this is one of the things that has caused a lot of the damage. Iron reinforcing bands had been put in on the front of these stairs, steps, and there's no foundation. The limestone has allowed moisture to penetrate, and this has all gone rusty, and of course the rust has split out the stone. Oh, that's nastier than I thought. That's going to want some good reinforcing with some good concrete. That may well be something that'll get done today, but it's not the top priority. Top priority is I've nearly run out of milk for tea. Oh dear, that's not good. Well, again we've got mist, hardly surprising. There are three fairly major rivers that surround this area. So yeah, you probably will get lots of mists. These little isolated farms, lovely aren't they? I don't know, we might be able to, yeah, I've got nothing behind me. Let's see what their cows are doing, because cows tell the weather, don't they? If they're laying down it's going to rain, if they're standing up it's going to be fine. Is that right? Let's yeah, the sun's in the wrong place really, isn't it? Two main types of cattle in this part of the world. There's Charolais, which are the light tan coloured ones, and there are Limousin. There are of course other types of cattle, but you know, they're the main ones. Coming up to the town of Martizay from the other side, from Azay-le-Ferron, and I think that's a lovely, lovely view. Don't really capture it too well with a camera. Let's stop for the stop line. Oh, contemplating. Awful lot of chicken and egg with this job. I would like to make that prettier, because the bottom space is the indoor log store, and I feel a need to use it because I want to get the logs out of the barn. But before I do that, I want to make it pretty, and before I do that, I rather feel a need to get in there and do some, well, it's like an echo chamber in here, isn't it? Do some stuff to that wall. That doesn't look very clever, does it? There's some, what we might call issues going on there. The house itself, effectively, when it was built, ended there, and that carries on right the way through to the top of the house. It's a good stone built corner, and this side seems to be an addition, a later addition. And when I say later, you know, it's still rather older than me, shall we say. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little tidy up, get rid of some of this toot and crud, empty out this space and get in there and do things. Well, yeah, it's a very interesting space under the stairs with, yeah, very interesting. I managed to get in, but I'd be awfully obliged if one of you would come and grab my legs and get me out. Well, the trick as ever is to remove the loose before you start building up. Yeah, there's been some very, how do we put this kindly, rustic rendering done in here. And it's coming off so easily it's sort of almost frightening. But we're getting back to some solid stone. Oh dear. Well, I've knocked out a big lump of loose plaster. Yeah. But what I think I better do, as this holds the house up, is get in there and do some pointing. And while I'm at it, you know, that's under the stairs, I'll get in there and do some pointing as well. Well, that's a little bit in. We'll let that get a bit stiff before I put the next lot in. Let it just stiffen up a little bit. And yeah, we've made a start in there. Again, I'll just let that stiffen up a little bit. I'm going to go for a walk around the garden because I've already stiffened up. What was it Captain Oak said? I'm going outside and I may be a little time, something like that. Ooh. Again, you know, this job that needed cement had been done with plaster. That didn't take a massive bang to knock that out. That was just a gentle little tap and out it came. Again, I think we need to get some pointing in there, don't you? Well, there we are. Yeah, feels a little bit like rendering up the inside of your own tomb. Laying on one shoulder and trying to work rather cack-handed. That's just the pointing gone in. It's got to have a sort of rendering coat of another material, and yeah, little way to go before we get the paintbrush out, but you know, progress. And round this side likewise, that's got the pointing stuffed in. Yeah, that's going to get another coat of another sort of mortar. Well, let's just have a review of progress. Oh dear, progress. It's sort of 1 step forward and 3 back at the moment. I cut a lot of firewood. I've burnt a lot of firewood. I've had fish and chips for me dinner, cooked on the oven. Yeah, and I've crawled around in there, in the cave. That was fun. Yeah, I had to. Oh, did you hear my knees crack then? Yeah, rolling around, getting that pointed in. That wall is then going to get a bit of stabilising with some of that wonderful bonding stuff, and then it'll get a skim of, I don't know whether I'll put plaster straight on it or whether I shall probably give it a render with some white cement just to bond it thoroughly, and then plaster it and then paint it, make it beautiful, well, more lovely than it currently is. You know, spiders want nice homes too. I've got most of the horrible yellow off that. It's funny, some of it just flakes off in great big sort of chunks, and some of it is stuck like the proverbial to a blanket. That which has come off, I've given that a once over with the bonding agent. Yeah, so that's a sort of bit of a review of the day. I've done other things besides. I've done a bit of gardening, and 1 or 2 of you kindly have said don't forget to rest and relax. So do you remember those corny old programmes on telly where people who couldn't sing and couldn't dance would always end up singing and dancing? Well, I ain't going to do that, but